Hi everyone, thanks for joining us on the Onpassive Australia YouTube channel. I'm here with some of the team from Onpassive Australia. We're really excited today to be talking to the lovely SUSIE McCREA. She's on the Leadership Council for Onpassive. She's a whole lot of fun. She's on a lot of the webinars, so we get to hear her voice a lot. Welcome, SUSIE.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be with you ladies, and let's have some fun tonight. Well, it's tonight for me, but it's daytime for you, but that's okay. That's what's so wonderful about this. We're global and we still can connect.
Yep, exactly. So you've had an extensive career and you've got lots of experience in HR, labour scheduling, attendance and productivity, budgets, customer service and employee satisfaction. You've also been a network marketer for the last 5 years. So welcome. So how did you hear about Onpassive and what made you come on board?
Well, interestingly enough, I became a network marketer a little over 5 years ago. I dabbled in it back in the 1990s when you guys were probably either very young, very, very young. And I didn't have much success with it back in the early 90s. However, I understood the importance of leverage, residual income, and I just kind of caught the bug, but I didn't do that well when I ventured into it in the 90s. So about 5 years ago, I became involved in an MLM, multi-level marketing, a company that I really didn't want to do the business side, but I fell in love with the products because they really helped me feel better. And once I got into the MLM, I saw that there was an opportunity to do network marketing, residual income, and I saw the value in that. So I grew a team and I was having fun. I was still working full time, but I was enjoying the products, building a team, sharing it with my friends on Facebook, everything. And I always thought in the back of my mind that there had to be a better way to do business because I had gotten to the point where I wanted to bring more people in, help more people, either with the products, which was great, or help them with the residual income and build a business. So I was always on the lookout and I had tried a lot of things. And one of the things I did was I became a member of a lot of Facebook groups and a lot of women's Facebook groups, especially health and wellness and women entrepreneur groups. So last January, 2020, January, I was in a Facebook group for women entrepreneurs, and something caught my eye. A woman who I did not know posted about becoming a founder with a company that was automated, drove traffic for you, made you successful, helped you do the recruiting. And I was like, huh, that sounds great, because I wanted to be able to not just help myself, but help my team. So I responded to this woman who I did not know and said, I'm interested. And right away, she got back to me and sent me information about Onpassive, and no pressure. She wasn't pressuring me or anything. I looked at it and I said, and I listened to one of Ash's webinars, and I said, oh my goodness, what if this could be something that could help me and my team move forward? So I jumped right on board. I paid the $97 with my American Express card, okay, because I didn't know anything about the company. And after I purchased it, I got a little bit of a pit in my stomach, and I said, what did I just do? Because I really didn't know much about it. But I think that's a natural instinct for people. And then, so since January 4th, 2020, after jumping on board from one post in a Facebook group, I have educated myself, and my belief and what I know this company is going to do to help change lives has just been tremendous. So I know that's kind of a long answer, but I think it's important to know that it piqued my interest because I saw it as a system to help solve a problem. And that problem with especially people in businesses and MLMs is, it's great when you can expand your business, but then you get to a point where, how do I grow it even more? And how do I help my team? And I, quite frankly, was stuck. So that's how I got introduced.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a story.
Yeah.
So how did you, I've spoken before about your family. You're a big family and they're all founding members too. Has that been great to be able to share with them?
Yes, and actually, I come from a family of 7 children plus my parents, and my mom's 90, my dad's 93. They're still with us, and which is, I'm blessed for that. And I share with them that, you know, all of your children are part of this incredible company, and we're going to have a McCREA family legacy. So I share that with them. And out of, I would say out of the 7 siblings, there's 2 others besides myself that are really involved, you know, listening to the webinars and whatnot, but that's okay. They trust me, the other siblings, and they jumped right on board because they saw my enthusiasm as this would be a way to help our bottom line, and for us as a family to go out there and help others in a way we've never been able to.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And how did you come about the Leadership Council? Were you happy to be part of that?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. I am the type of person that I guess you would describe it as bold. When I get excited about stuff, I'm the first to like raise my hand, ask questions, give feedback. I mean, I was the type of person in my career was when I would get up and come up with ideas, there'd be people who would be like on board, and there'd be other people who'd be like, oh boy, here she goes. But that never bothered me, because if I'm excited about something, I want to be part of it. So I guess what happened was when I started learning every day about Onpassive, I became involved with Onpassive Nation, which is Marty, Mike, and Dan, which you may be aware of. They help facilitate a lot of the webinars for Ash. And right away, I got on board with them. I started bringing my family and friends in. And while I was in their Facebook group, I was helping other members of the Facebook group answer questions. That's kind of like, and I bet you ladies are the same way, you like to be a problem solver, help people. So I started helping people, and it kind of caught the attention of Marty, and I was helping him with a few things. I had some ideas, and the more that grew, it kept growing and growing and growing. And then as we had some team webinars, Ash came on, and Ash got to meet me, and he started hearing a little bit about my background, and that I was very engaged, and I had a corporate background in human resources, and some of the things I know we're going to probably end up talking about today. And he liked my enthusiasm and my background. So there was a moment when there was a time that he was increasing the leadership council, and he and Marty reached out to me and asked me if I would like to be a member. And of course I was like, absolutely. I mean, we're like a volunteer army, but I was like, what an honor to be on there, because it's the things I love to do. I love to help solve problems, answer questions. So that's kind of how I became part of the leadership council. And I just feel blessed that I was asked, but I'm also the type of person who doesn't stay quiet. So in a lot of the public webinars, I was asking questions, raising my hand, and Ash saw that. I think that I was really engaged. So that's how I became part of it.
Yeah. And that's why those public Zooms are so good, because you learn something new every week. They're just
every week I learned something new. I had my sister on this last Tuesday, and just hearing her story, even though I kind of knew it, just the way she said it, I'm like, that's going to resonate with people who have struggled to try to build a business online.
Definitely did with me. Yeah, she was great.
Right. Yeah.
Susie, touching on a little bit of your background, your experience in helping transition your workforce in the 1980s over to computers, how do you think the workforce today is going to transition over to Onpassive?
Well, now you ladies look very young to me, so you may not have been part of back in the 80s in the computer.
I wasn't even born yet.
Okay. So, I mean, this will give a little history to whoever is watching this. When I first started with that supermarket company, this is how we did payroll. We had a payroll book that you filled out, and then you attached it to a binary system where you punched a strip, an IBM reel, using the binary system. And I can't remember how that works, but I used to help do that. Then you would line up the book with the reel and punch. Then you would take the reel and put it through this IBM feed in the back cash office, and it would get read through IBM, and that's how the payroll was generated. And if they didn't receive it, you had to roll it all up again and resend it. And that's how we ordered product in our grocery stores. Now, people look at grocery stores and they're like, oh, you just put stuff on the shelf and the customers buy it. Well, it was far more in depth than that, than anyone really knows. So back in the 80s, everything was done on paper. There were no real computers. We ended up getting workstations where you didn't even have email back then. You would have to like print out a memo, print out copies, and mail it out to people within the organization to let them know you were having a meeting. Everything was done via the phone. I remember working with meat managers who managed the meat department, I was in my 20s, they were in their late 50s, early 60s, and they were going from paper to a handheld device where they would order in the book and then have to scan the barcode and then how many of each they wanted to order, and then transmit that in a cradle in the computer room. I mean, the way we did things was unbelievable. So the learning curve on the older generation at that time proved to be a challenge. And the challenge was just trying to get people to trust and feel comfortable with the system. That was one of the biggest things. You know, they would have issues with, you know, what button they pressed, what they did, and that was all workable, but it was trusting it. I remember the women, and most of them were women in the cash office, they balanced the cash office every day on paper. And then we had to say, okay, that's okay, but now you need to balance on the computer, punch in the numbers. Well, a lot of them didn't trust that, so they would do it both ways. So the productivity when we first started was not good because we had a lot of people doing double the work because they didn't trust the system. So how I see this transitioning to Onpassive with people out there, I see almost the exact opposite, to be quite frank with you. I see people who have struggled with systems, how they work, going from one website to another, one application to another, afraid that they're going to break something or make a mistake. I think our CEO, Ash Mufareh, has created products that we will be supported with. They will be easy. They will make sense. They will be simplified. So I kind of see a reverse in what's going on out there, that a lot of times people now are on systems and they're Googling to figure out how to do it. They have to watch a YouTube. They have to watch it a few times, go here, check your profiles, do this setting. I am a firm believer that this is going to be the opposite, and it's going to be simplified. I mean, my mom's 90, my dad's 93. I'm encouraged to help them get on board so that our communication product, we can use that with them. And I think it's going to be a heck of a lot easier than what we currently have. So I see it very differently, and I see it very optimistically.
Sounds great. Thanks for that story.
You have an extensive experience in HR. So one of the products that's coming out through Onpassive is OStaff. And how do you see that with increasing productivity and customer satisfaction?
Okay, so that's one of the reasons I think I'm on the leadership council, because Ash knew I lit up with that product. And I wish I had that product during my career, because it would have saved hours of pulling my hair out and frustration. So when you ask about how that will improve productivity, I see it as a domino effect. When companies get this product or are exposed to this product, they are going to see how easy it is going to be to have all of their employees, their information, their payroll, their punches, all of their, either their documents. I mean, here's an example. I worked at a hospital in the end of my career. Everyone had to have a flu shot. Everyone had to have certain vaccinations. So now you're dealing with, there was one system in the hospital that recorded that. There were other systems where they recorded their payroll, and there were other systems that recorded if they had done their staff training, their online training, things that were required by, just the people that oversee our health and wellness. And it was all scattered. So to try to run a report, because we required flu vaccines for everyone, if not, they had to wear a mask. This was before COVID-19. Just trying to take that report, match it with this report. There were so many pieces to the system that required so much time and energy that I see this O staff as to have everything under one umbrella. Not only is that going to save time for the managers and money for the company, because I was involved in time and attendance, which is your payroll, your punches, cutting checks for people, their tax information, their time off, their compensation, all of that. I was involved with making decisions about purchasing products that were $100,000 plus US dollars to get those systems, get trained on those systems. And then when you wanted to add more employees, it cost more money. If you wanted upgrades, it cost more money. And with O staff, you're in with everything under one umbrella. You do not have to pay anywhere near that amount of money with no limit. But I got to tell you, I truly believe the biggest, aside from saving time for the managers, which hands down, it's going to save unbelievable time, saving money for a company, that's a given. But I truly believe one of the bigger things is retention. And what I mean by that is managers, supervisors, staff, they are going to feel like it's organized, that it's not constantly a shuffle of, well, we didn't receive this. Oh, you got to email us this. Oh, we didn't pay you correctly. Oh, we have to do this. Now we have to go to finance to be able to get you this information. Or wait a minute. That in itself is going to give an organization or a company a sense of security, and that will keep managers, supervisors, and staff, because they are going to have trust in their company. Because one of the most important things I learned way back in the early 80s when I started working for that supermarket company was, you don't play around with people's payroll or what's due to them. And if you have a system that is not a good system that has checks and balances, you lose your integrity. And that's what I truly believe the biggest thing is. People are going to come on board to a company that has taken on our Onpassive O staff, and they're going to go, where has this been my whole life? Because even though there's great things out there, nothing compares to what Ash has shown us. I truly believe it. And I get fired up about it because I'm like, oh my God, I wish I had that when I was a manager. I totally wish I had that.
The products, what we've been shown so far are just mind-blowing. And just to think there's around 50 different products. And I just think they're all going to be amazing. It's just so exciting.
Hi, Susie. I just want to speak about Ash. Now, as a founder and as we've been listening to him, even from the start, when I started, absolutely love what he's about. You can just hear the heart of Ash, and there's over 400,000 founders, and they all feel the same when they've heard him. So you've, on the leaderboard, what are your thoughts? You've obviously spoken to Ash in person. Well, not in person, but, personally.
Yes. So besides the webinars that I've been on with him, we have had a couple private webinars with the Leadership Council when we first came on board. And I'll tell you, because you can see I'm the type of person that I'm not afraid to talk or say things. And one of the things he said to me in one of our private webinars really touched me. I mean, there's been a number of things that have touched me with what he said about us needing to be more creative in our lives, giving back to people, you know, not being burdened with financial worry to get back to our creative self. But I said to him in one of the meetings, I said, this is so refreshing, because I said, you know, Ash, I said, I don't think outside the box. I said, I have no box. And I said, my whole career, I was the type of person who would always come up with ideas or thoughts, and I'd throw them out there. And a lot of times people would roll their eyes or, you know, try to suppress me. And he looked right at me and he said, Susie, you never have to worry about this here. He said, if you have a thought or an idea, we are going to listen and we're going to do everything to make it happen. And I was like, no one in my whole life has ever said that, because I've always been under that corporate structure, you know. And when he said that to me, so he made me feel like I could be myself and I didn't have to kind of mold myself around like a corporate type feeling. Like if I had something to say, he said, we can make it happen, or we'll do everything we can to make it happen. So that really touched me in a private webinar where he said, Susie, don't let anyone ever put that lid on. Don't put that lid on you. He goes, you just say whatever you want. So I love that he lets me be me. He lets me do whatever I want in those webinars, and I just welcome people. I put on crazy glasses. I just have fun, and that's what I love about it. It's not your typical stuffy kind of business.
Thanks so much for your time today, Susie. It's been so great to chat with you.
Yes, you guys are lovely. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I have the Australian team that I'm friends with now. I mean, isn't that, I know it sounds kind of corny and trite to say that, but really the people we have met, and, you know, anyone who is watching this, because I know it's recorded, you've got to reach out to these ladies to be a part of this, because you're crazy if you don't.
That's
exactly all I can say. We don't pester or pressure or try to convince anybody. But I just thank God every day I saw that post in that women's entrepreneur group, and it piqued my interest enough to go down that rabbit hole. Because I've gone down some rabbit holes that haven't ended up so good, but this is a keeper. So
okay, well, thanks so much again, Susie, for joining us. It's so great to connect.
Welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It was nice meeting all you lovely ladies. Those were great questions, and I'm glad I could be part of your Team Australia.